Hey there, Pisces. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Friends and subscribers, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, click that subscribe button, ring the bell. They'll notify you anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find you like the content we provide here at Joy of the World, give us that big thumbs up, like and share. Help us get this word out about joy to the world. Our goal here is to make our world a bold, bright, beautiful place because you are in it. Also, thank you for your donation. They've been sending money to me to buy new decks, and that's what I bring out to get more intuitive insight into what is going on. Some shadowy type decks, some creative off-the-wall type decks. In mid-September, I will have one of my favorites showing up, and I'm so very excited about that. So for now, Pisces, you are the opening of the week, and the thing is, it's about love. The fight is to surrender to love. How do I know? Looky. They told me last night my dream, and I didn't know. I didn't know what it was for. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then I sit down to start these, and they were like, this is what's going on this week, and Pisces is going to let you in on it. And I said, all right, I can count on my Pisces to let me know what is up. And it looks pretty fierce. And it seems like a facade, but actually it's the era that we've been in. We've been in an era of disillusionment, one that seemed like the mask was off, and it was so off that it was actually on. All this acceptance and tolerance that's been going on is really just facade after facade after facade. It's like a new painting technique on some beautiful furniture. It's like, well, we'll just paint over that because we don't like that, and we'll just paint over that because we don't like that, and here's how we'll do this and do that. And that's where our society is kind of in this topsy-turvy energy right now. Okay, so you're letting me know, hey, to get a rune on this. So we're going to do that for the Knight of Swords. How do we get this disillusionment? See, look at that. They're golden orbs, but they're calling them gourds. Gourds are something that would provide a house for birds, but they take up massive amounts of water, massive amounts of food, and they grow massively every day. So you start getting excited, thinking woohoo, but then there's nothing in there. Okay, now I do know they each have their purpose, but if you were intending it to be food and to take care of yourself, then it's going to be sadly mistaken, right? Love is the thing that feeds us, and that's what we need to know here. So what you have coming in amazing is the warrior. All right, a warrior of light is what I hear going on here. Will of heaven, patience, deep dive, molding character, and timely relationship. Now this is pretty hard driven this week, and it is about so many people have been staving off relationships, even if you've been in a long-term one. It may not be relating so much, right, as it is entertaining. Entertaining someone's time, someone's ideas, and that sort of thing, but without the connection, without the relating in the two-way street that allows us to travel and journey in this life on all the forms and facets. Okay, so we're going to look at this Queen of Cups because she is a person of action. But first, she is lining up her ideas of what she knows it is that she wants, what she is here for, and what she has survived the deep dive to bring up. These are her pearls, her eyes, her instincts, and her intuition, all coming into fruition is what she is saying. She's using her mind to calm the waters behind her. So any fear, any disruptions, any of those disillusions of like, you're the reason that I'm not happy, or, even being disgruntled with yourself, whatever it is, when you get still and you get quiet, like two of the new decks were telling me, is when we can't control something is when we learn the most. It's when we fall silent, we quit trying to teach and tell and show ourselves and everybody else. And this powerful will of heaven has found. This powerful will of heaven can rise up. And it rises up from our roots, and it begins to feed us, because the energy of a tree is also like the energy of the human body. It moves in many facets and form, but the one that feeds and nourishes us and replenishes us and rests and restores us moves straight up and down the body. So in a tree or plant, xylem and phloem, okay, it moves back up and down as a form of communication to know what it needs and how to feed. And that's what she's talking about here. And it becomes a helmet of salvation for you. And once you become safe and secure, right, that allows you to begin to imagine. That allows your mind to open and unfurl. It is the key that unlocks the gate. Your throat gate. Okay. Who was that last week? Tail end of last week. Saggy Cap. Aqua, maybe aqua. Talking about the throat gate, that when you truly trust Sagitt, you can open your throat and expose it, opens your collarbones. It's a true sign of trust. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Somebody's horn is going off out in the parking lot. So one of these pearls, what I see sparking here, these pearls that have been brought up from the deep, remember that pump action going on? It is here. Look. See the star coming up from your equipment, from your preparation, from your root, rising up, and it's telling it directionally where to go, towards the heart and into the hands, because the hands are the symbol of the heart. They are where we demonstrate how we truly feel about life. Sorry, quick interruption there. So thank you for bearing with me. Anyways, I do have your back, but I still have one more thing to tend to today. But anyways, this is like that modern chaos and confusion. It's like the swords. You know, these eyes, these gourds that have taught us to be on guard, on protected at all times, and not to fully to surrender to trust, not to that life. You can't truly trust anyone other than yourself, but if you can't, then you can't even trust yourself. And you're like, that's right. But see, your wings are rising up. They've had enough, and they're ready to stop this commotion. Okay, so that you can get moving on, moving forward, and that the party will start. Your soul will shine. Okay, thank you, Queen. Now down beneath it, what is undergirding that is the energy that is rising up, is the Hierophant, the mastering of your golden egg, of your energy, of your true owl, your true eternal wisdom, and what you know, the key that unlocks who you are. Look at all that woven together. You see the key there? Okay. And these are the scrolls of time, almost like a video, like recording, but it's paper recording, right? It's all these little written things of the knowings, of like hindsight, of processing, rising up into your mind, making a picture, an eternal picture, giving you like the hindsight and the foresight, the clarity of the now, so that you can actually live. We have to live, and we only do it in the present, right? You can't live in bondage. And looking to the future, the past is the bondage. But taking those energies and bringing them into the one space, into the one place, gives you the sight of how to move forward. I guess it kicks the gourds off your eyes. It gets them off your eyes. Because see, what is represented here is what is actually going on here, right? And it's pointing to where we really need to do is enter through the heart. And that's what you're showing us here, right? That's what you're showing us about your soul star needing to interrupt through. We're going to get through this. Okay. Needing to interrupt through your heart and bring in the truths, the pearls of wisdom, into beauty, not into this guard, into this being protective and having to over-obsess or mentalize anything. You're able to begin to flow. You're able to begin to unfurl and to roll and to move forward through time, stepping through the gates of time. And how do we do that? This is like the two eyes here. The passion and the peace going on together, it opens that channel and that gate in between that helps you see clearly how to move through the energies, these attention-getting energies, these uprising energies, these downplaying energies, these things that could clash and have chaos with one another, but they are here in the meeting of the mind and the peace and the stability that we find in the space in between. And what space is that? You're talking about that being the space for love, and you're like, Joy, over this way, and I'm like, what's on the other side? And I'm crazy, gourd eyes. I don't know, but we're gonna look. All right, look at there, Two of Cups, and this is more than just the kind of love. This is like, let's get it on. You know, it's running a race. It's a merry-go-round. It's going out and frolicking in the fields. It is exploring. It is the innocence, but also the passion of life. It's not like children, the beauty is they have the innocence, but they have no power, right? Their power is only in their mind and their imagination, but they can't drive a car, right? Even if there were emergency, there are limitations to what they can do. But when you've come through these gates of time, right, and you've stepped forward into this power and this authority that you have here from learning and mastering and opening your own golden egg, that's when you begin to see what it was all for. See, this horn kind of moves off the page, but it's a reiteration of this one. This is your red and white magic. Okay, this is your hopes, dreams, and fears. This is your blood, sweat, and tears coming on. And they begin to catalyze and cause the green energy, which is lovemaking of the heart. Look, all these colors are reiterated here. I absolutely love it. And it's working your magic together to begin to make up. Okay, let's talk about this. to make up for lost time. Time hasn't been lost. That time that was spent learning in the innocence under other people's power and authority was rising up, and it's all been recorded, right? It's all here for you. It has not been lost. And that's a neat thing about Saturn, about that kind of time. Also, the horns and the golden ribbon that we see going on here is that it's not lost. It is applied. See, it's been saved. And it was all curled up like a chameleon when they go to sleep at night. Their tail curls all the way up, that when they're ready, it unfurls. When they're ready to awaken and move, it unfurls. And that's how you're able to get a grasp on life. I absolutely love it. And look what they're looking at. Looking. See that? Look at this reiteration. Because if you look closely, there are multiple legs here. So this is actually 2 unicorns. All right? 2 of a kind finding each other. Because how do you make more unicorns? 2 unicorns, right? You have the male and the female, right, to make another unicorn. And that opens the fountain and causes it to begin to flow. This is your truth, your living truth, your trust flowing forth. And when the world sees 2 that genuinely trust each other, look at the power that it imbues our world with, and it causes our world to green up and come to fruition. We have the fig here, which is fertilized internally, and we have the pear here, which is fertilized externally, and that causes the fountain of life to begin to flow, and all of heaven to flow down into earth through your relationship and out into our world in all directions, okay? Not withheld from anyone, but shared with all. All right, and so underneath that 5 of Cups, because to me 5 are empowering cards, that's what happens when the key gets turned. Because I don't know if y'all can see closely, but there is the key of Chiron. All right, so now that the healing has come, you own your mind. These swords, they're words written all over here. And these are activations of your mind. They're almost like pens or quills or crayons, things that write out and you create into our world. And you're creating this whole new world through the action of your mind. You're armed with your bow, knowing which way you want to direct it. And you do it with your mind's eye. Okay? You know who you are. You know how to navigate your power. And you know how to move the clouds. So the clouds you're talking about, this is almost like a cloud now to move the waters. How to take them from place to place with you. So this doesn't bind you in anywhere hem you in. It bonds you. How fantastic. Sometimes people like, is your last name Bonds? I'm like, no, Bounds. But thank you. Anyway, so the card that unionizes the 5 of Cups and the King of Swords there is the High Priestess. The space in between. Gemini's been teaching about the space in between, filling in that dark chasm and opening our eyes, almost like switching on the light to see how amazing we actually are. From the centering, right? The centering, okay? Can you see it there? Do, 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 do. These are almost like the tomes of your life. Look at the seeds and the fertility that you have. This is the power of your breath. And this is the magnificence of that river. It's now flowing in the purity of life. It is flowing in this covering. Okay? This, remember over here, it was starting with that when you're the feeling of safety. The feeling of safety that you have. That it stops that chaos. It stops that confusion. The distraction, that sort of thing. And this masking and gourds. All that kind of stuff going on. That when you live this life of union, it starts to flow. It causes all that masking, all that issue to fall off the minds of others, and they begin to see how you live. They begin to see your truth and watch it flow and see what integrity actually looks like, see what divine magic actually looks like, what divine relationship and connection looks like. What that divine connection actually looks like. And since y'all have bore with me through so many interruptions, you earn the right and the privilege to be the first to get one of these cards. The Pitman. Pretty exciting. So let's take a look and see. You've already got one coming out. I'm going to get a few more. You've got another volunteer. Hey, perfect timing. You know, sometimes life's interruptions can seem like they're an interruption when actually they're a gift. There's something bringing you in exactly what you've wanted, exactly what you've been waiting for. And when you begin to value it and appreciate it and just smooth and roll right over it and, you know, thank the people for bearing with you as you go, you get some good stuff coming in. So let's see what's coming in for you here, Pisces, on top of this read of your truth coming forth. All right. Oh, wow. You cooking up some magic. I'm glad I see the good stuff happening as opposed to exploding. So finding a way to diffuse your creativity, this creative power, this massive love that you have here. And instead of, remember the gourds? that thing, that the gourd eyes that just lead you to that defensive type energy. It could be explosive. It could have been, angering, even frustrating. Even frustration can look like this, and it just blows up in your face because it drains your energy. But here you've put it into creative use. You're becoming aware of who and what you are, and what these different emotions are, and noticing them and recognizing them when they come, and deciding how to utilize them and to work them to your advantage. Not work people to your advantage, but to work your emotions to your advantage. And that is a big key to the will of heaven, to bringing in healthy foundational relationships that bring in this kind of beautiful love. That, remember, we were talking about this power and this purity, the life flowing through. That's what you're showing us now. So that's why I don't snuff at these interruptions that have been going on that are out of my control. Is like, that's the way we learn. And so I'm excited to bring these to you. Next, after that, flowing into the identifying of those feelings that come on through, so that they don't get submerged and become cocktails and bombs of emotions, like explosions going off, and people are like, what did I do? And you're like, I don't know, and you feel pretty bad about it later. But I definitely feel the ship is taking off. You're turning the tide, and you're ready to launch. That when that begins to happen, it gives you massive control of your life. It helps balance out the scale to bring in what you want to see from yourself, what you're made of internally. That you begin to take that massive amount of power. Remember this, this type of, kinetic, catalytic type energy, and put it behind you, right? See, remember, it's like this, it's underneath. So you're putting it behind you, and this is like you containing all that creativity and the luck, of course, and you're fueling up and you're taking off. You're taking off in the direction of the life that you desire. And we know life has pleasure has a lot to do with more than just money and provisions. It has to do with the order of your life, the flow of your life, how things come together, because opportunities, they're not just made, they come to you as well. So it's merging together with the energies of life and the energies of yourself, divine friend. I like that. So you're talking about these two coming in together. That's pretty interesting. So I'm going to turn it around, show it to you, and then I'm going to take a look. Okay, so this power of love that we've been talking about this whole time, building to this pinnacle, not pentacle moment, this zenith moment that's coming in to help you out, a helping hand. This love is keeping you from going round and round that same cycle, that same circuit of having the same life, because you keep hearing the same thoughts. And now I will tell you, a majority of the time, tune in and listen. Is that actually my voice and coming from inside my head? Or is that something just right around my ears and I think I'm thinking it? Now, see, that's one advantage when you haven't been able to see for years. I went through periods of kind of somewhat blindness and somewhat deafness and all this kind of goofy stuff. But definitely when you can't see, you learn to determine where that sound is coming from. And that's what was going on, because this is like an ear, like a kidney, like a womb. And it just kept cycling around, like negative thinking, bad habits, entertaining other people's ideas and their opinions about you and minimizing who you are. And you're like, we're providing a way out. That dog leg of Uranus is like, we get you out of here. Love has extended his hand, reached down in. This is like you and your rocket ship, right? You came from your other place. You're like turning this frustration around into creative empowerment, and you're like, and you're landing over into this world. You're like, love, I'm gonna come save you. Love's coming to save you, friend. And look at it, it's coming and going. It's a relationship, a divine relationship. Remember, it's talking about these timely relationships. So this is the molding of the character that warrior rune was talking about, and you being able to land and arrive, your future self coming. Those decisions, they change the trajectory and the path that you're on, and they bring these opportunities, this life, this fulfillment to you, and it's coming and going, because see, the hearts are both directions, right? Love is a two-way street, because only love is unconditional. There is no conditional love, because that's not love. All right. So when it's genuine, it is a relationship. It is a connector, and it goes both ways. It's not just finding somebody who will love you. It's also being connected to someone who lets you love them back, because it needs to be that circuit, that cycle, that flow, right? That's why it broke this old jaunty, messed up stuff here, and it creates that pure circle of life. It creates this divine fountain, because that is a divine union. Do you see all those legs going on up over there? Right, friend? Okay, so I want to get a bye-bye card to take you out of here. So we're going to get a pearl. We're going to get a pearl for Pisces. Hey, I love you guys. I'm so glad y'all have been here. Okay, that is the volunteer. Let's see what's up. So many people are getting this, and this rest and rejuvenation is really saying, don't sweat. Don't stress. Don't be bothered by this, because like 19 days I have without air conditioning. It just got it installed, and last night was my first night sleeping with air on, and so I like slept, and it was fantastic. Starting to feel slightly rejuvenated. But that's where the Mars video was talking about. It's called Magic Monday, but it just means you get a read on Monday and you get a read on Friday, right? But this Magic Monday was talking about the Mars retrograde. And Mars, along with Pluto, we're talking about the period leading up to it, up towards September 9th, or up to the time that you're hearing that video is really the rockiest part. It really is the tests and the trials of that conversion, of converting this energy, of realizing that you can see it from a whole different perspective, and that launches you in an entire new trajectory, and you deliver yourself. What? By the power of your permission. Why? Because we've been delivered from blindness and ignorance and not knowing any better. Once we know better, we definitely do better, and that's what she's all about, right? Look at herself, all composed. Whether you're a man or a woman here, this is you. This is about the action of love, is taking that choice and that initiation to connect, right? And that sure is divinely different from this. Both of them have a set look to them. But this one's all like stirring stuff up, where this one's bringing it in, letting it come on up, come on down, bringing them pearls. Bringing them pearls. So I'm telling you, don't sweat, don't stress. Help is on your side. You're on your side. Now that you know better, don't let frustration work against you. And remember, tune in. Is that voice, that thought, that programming, is it outside your ear? Or is it genuinely how you feel about life? And if it isn't, edit that shit out and be like, bye, Felicia. Bye, bitch. And going out the door. Not you, it. Say, shh, it. Get out the door, right? Okay, Pisces, I love you. I'm so glad we got to check in together. We'll talk again soon. Bye.